Hello. Apologies. Apparently, I'm having internet issues. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. We are live from my closet for today because they're working on my house. So, in case y'all wondering why I'm in a small space and my voice sounds muffled, that is why. We'd like to welcome James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel back to our channel. We're so happy to have him. He's always with us. On our recaps, we are here to recap Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, season 11, episode 7. It's crazy. There's been 11 seasons of this, and it's still going.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Almost, well, let's kind of play a little bit of a devil's advocate. It almost didn't happen. I think what saved this show was the fact that they did all those family reunion-esque down there in Tucson, Arizona,
Yeah.
because during the panorama, because Arizona didn't close, y'all. When I lived in Arizona at the time
It didn't
COVID was
close.
happening, Arizona did not close. Arizona was open. Yes, we took precaution as far as wearing masks and stuff. Absolutely, we did. But as far as like establishments, clubs, that shit was still open. You could go
What?
from there.
Really? What the fudge? So that explains because there used to be another show on MTV, Floribama Shore, and they were kind of like Jersey Shore, the vacations and stuff, but they had went to Arizona during the
Hmm.
was it Lake Havasu?
They went to Lake Havasu. Yep. Love and
Mhm.
Hip Hop went to Tucson, the resort in Tucson. I know which resort that is. I just can't remember the name of it. But and there was another show that films in Arizona as well
Oh,
during 2021. Yep. So Arizona was like getting all these reality shows, getting all the resorts was opening up their doors for these reality TV shows because that's a check. That's a huge check.
I heard the
You
hell
could
out of
cover
that.
each one of the rooms for that little bit of money. So yep. But anyways, y'all, let's move on.
We're gonna get into the episode. I hope everybody is doing well today. This episode was a lot. An episode for a lot of people can be, from what I've seen online, it can be triggering for both men and women. I think it just depends on opinion. So we're gonna delve into it. The episode basically begins with Sierra and Chaotic arguing, and well, not Chaotic. Sierra, Chaotic, Scrappy, a bunch of other people, but mainly Sierra and Scrappy are getting into it. So we leave the last episode seeing that Sierra basically confronts Scrappy on his relationship, which has nothing to do with her. She confronts Scrappy on the things that he is saying about his current wife, soon to be ex, has nothing to do with her. And she is confronting Scrappy on the issues that happened in court mediation, which has nothing to do with her. Y'all gonna see why I'm giving you this. It has nothing to do with anything because I am a firm believer in minding my black owned business. B3ST Entertainment, black owned business. I don't like to get involved in other people's stuff, and I do think there's a way to support friends. So through the argument with Scrap, she's basically upset on whether or not this man fucked Diamond. If I was Diamond and I heard all the talk around town about people talking about who I slept with and my periods being missed and all of this, I would have been came to somebody, sent the text, the cease and desist or something. Because at this point, the Diamond issue is tired. Sierra, while arguing with Scrap, he is actively trying to get the hell away from her. Actively trying to get away from her. She gets up at him, hands in his face, yeah, and he, nah. And then she says, "What, you're gonna fight a woman?" And he responds, "No, I ain't trying to fight no woman." Still walking away. So while she's arguing, with the hands in the face and stuff, it was escalating and escalating, but not, in my opinion, on Scraps. You see this man walking away from her. And behind this man, you see this woman just following. And I'm just like, as a woman, I don't think it's okay for men to be aggressive with women. However, that man has a right to defend himself. And this is why you should mind your fucking business, Sierra. You are hollering as somebody else's ex and man about somebody else's children and somebody else's court situation. This is why I call Erica Mena, Sierra Gates, and Bambi Adiz the Bam, the Bitter Baby Mama Club, because what the hell is wrong with these women? So we do see Chaotic try to save the day. And at the end of this scene of this argument, this heifer Sierra ends up crying. I am a Gemini, so I can say it. That was some Gemini shit. Cause I done gone off on some motherfuckers and flashed on a motherfucker and then cried after. That is true Gemini energy. Okay. And for any of the Geminis who's trying to deny it, you're probably June Geminis and messy. Just a fact. But I'm just saying, there's no way in hell that you're going to chase this man down, attack him, literally provoke him about shit that has absolutely nothing to do with your business, your life, your money, and then cry at the end of it. So I want to get your opinion on that, Jane.
I'm gonna say this because I agreed with you as far as Sierra doing all the most in this conversation. But to me, she knew who she was dealing with, and she knew that Scrappy wasn't going to back down from her. So that's why the antagonistic part was easy on Sierra's part. And this is where I blame Mama D. This is the exact place of where I blame Mama D. Because had you not taught your son that women were disposable, then he wouldn't feel the need to now get further away from her. Because he could have shut that down way before she went off. But he continued to get into the ring with her because he felt like he was cornered and had no choice. No, 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 no. He could have easily got the fuck away from her. Production security, come get her. I'm not doing this on camera. I'm not doing this at all.
Yeah, I
Production
absolutely
security.
agree.
So, but that's the thing. See, the problem is, and this is why I tell people all the time, I don't really fault this 100% on Sierra as much as I fault, because the thing about it, he fell for the bait. And that's what having a mama like her will teach you, because the fact that women are so disposable to him, he gets to treat them like that. He gets to treat them like he just throw them away because that's how his mama taught him that women were. We saw her do this with Erica. We saw her do it with Bambi. We saw him do it with Bucky over there. Like, we saw all of this where he basically women are disposable to you. You can treat them how you want to treat them. You can cuss them out. You can do that. And it's like, no, you cannot. If you valued yourself in a way to where this woman is coming at you over business that's not even hers, all you had to do was say, hey, production, come get her. This ain't got shit to do with her. I'm ready to go home because I
I
ain't got
think
time.
that's a very important point to bring up. And I'm glad that I have a man on the show to recap things, because this is coming from a male's mouth. Like, there is a way to handle manipulative and aggressive women and provoke women who are provocative in ways that'll drive you crazy. And I think what you said is very important for all men, especially Black men, to understand, because I think that Chaotic, based on his confessionals and how he was trying to talk to Scrap, I think that Chaotic saw that as well. And I do think that, listen, a bitch like Sierra, no disrespect, just a ratchet bitch with no education, I'm going to keep it 100. Okay? There is a way that you talk to people like that, or a way to talk to miserable people, because miserable people are always in other people's business. This is just why I say this. It's not personal. That's just why I say this. And then we also see her life is a hot ass mess right now as well. Sometimes saying less is better. Doesn't mean saying nothing. But I agree with James. Scrappy, all he had to say is, look, mama, let me stop you right there, because I want to be respectful when I talk to you so it doesn't come off wrong. I understand that you have loyalty to my ex-wife and you may have some form of a care for my kids, but this is still my family and my situation, and I don't want to talk to you about it. And then he could have been done, and then she would have looked like a fool. She did everything that she could to make him look like an aggressive, bad person.
Exactly.
And I feel like she did that, one, because she's a Gemini, and Geminis think before we do every fucking thing. Fact. Even when it makes no fucking sense. Okay? So Geminis in general are very analytical and calculated because I am that way. But I have no problem admitting it because I don't use that for evil. Now, people who use it for evil, they're not going to admit that. I definitely think Sierra knew what she was doing and was hoping it would turn into something. But here's my thing: you can't paint a man as aggressive on a television show and make an argument with him in front of a bunch of people, as well as production and security. And if security and production didn't feel the need to step in, then that tells you you weren't assaulted, you weren't touched, you didn't do anything. Now, to Sierra, my final thoughts on the matter are, and I will probably say this throughout the video: if you care about your fucking friends so much, then you understand that fighting with your friend's ex-husband and the father of her kids, could grow up to resent you one day. Watching this shit. Watch yourself. If you care
No,
about
I'm
your
gonna say
friends, I feel like you should be respectful and cognizant of the fact she's in court. What if Scrappy was smart? Because we know he's not. He could use this and what she did and have footage subpoenaed from MTV to use in court to say, do you see when she not doing stuff, she sends her people after me? Bambi needs to put her friends in check because I get that they are supporting her, but come on, man.
I agree with you, and I was gonna say that. I said I feel like if he were smart, he would use this as a way to get out of certain situations when it comes to
Mhm.
her trying to paint this picture. But the thing about it is, and see, that's why I said I blame Mama D for this because
Mhm.
she did not. She was so busy trying to be this pimp and trying to label women as this, vetted, mindless creatures that she really did not think that the long effect that this would have on her son is he doesn't know how to handle his own relationship or his own encounters with women. His response is to do what she probably would do, which is get angry and argue back. And I'm
Mm.
not going to argue back with a woman that has nothing to do with any of my situations. I'm literally going to say, mind your business. If you
Mhm.
cannot do it, I'm going to remove myself.
Yeah,
Thank you
because
very much for your
Mama D
time.
must have really also failed at pimping. Because I know one thing's for sure, two things is for certain. If I was a pimp, I ain't arguing with no bitch. You getting the backhand straight to the face. Go out there and walk that track, bitch. That's exactly how I feel. So I don't know what kind of pimping Mama D was doing, but I just had to put that in there. I know that's ignorant. I am not a pimp. And to the hoes that don't have pimps, I respect you. You get your money, sis. But look, if I was
I'm
a
just
pimp,
saying this, like, because you could clearly see the little boy. You could clearly see the little boy
often.
that was not raised to deal with situations because his mother was so busy trying to expose him to, this whole pimp hoe mentality, and that's what he lives by.
Yeah.
So his only vetted to argue with another woman, even though she looked crazy as hell, only is going to make him equally crazy, but that's what he knows. And that's why I'm telling people, like, I can't fault him for this, but at the same time, this is where therapy comes in because this is where you need to be rid of what you were taught. Because sometimes what our parents teach us is not, the necessity of our lives. It was just a necessity of the life they were trying to give us. And that is a two that's two different things. So I want people to understand that. It's, therapy does work because a lot of the times we have to be rid of what we were taught. Because sometimes what we were taught does not going to work when we get in our 20s and 30s. It doesn't work anymore. It worked when we were growing up.
I
So
agree. I agree. I definitely agree. So, um, to the men watching, just be sure if a woman ever comes at you like that, you feel like you're intentionally being provoked. If you can't shut the shit down from the jump, it's okay to just walk away and let her scream and holler and ignore it.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what Sierra fails to realize is this man owes you nothing. You're nothing to him.
No, what Sierra needs to stop doing, she needs to stop projecting her feelings of how she feel about her husband and that whatever the fuck that shit is. She needs to figure that out and stop trying to project her feelings on because you sat there in that bed with Bambi crying with her because you're not over your own shit. So when you saw Scrappy, that was a representation of your husband, and that's what you want to say to your husband, but you can't. Because
Mm,
let's not forget, didn't it come out on the blogs that your husband didn't even want your kids around?
yeah,
And was disrespecting them. Didn't that come out?
it did.
So I don't want to hear from Sierra about you trying
Sierra,
to
who's
correct some other man when you can't even correct the one that's in your house. I don't want to hear from you about that.
any of the ones that have been in your house, from BK to Shooter to this one, and probably the next one, and the one after that, and the one after that, because she seemed like that kind of girl. I'm sorry. I just, yeah. So I'm going to move on from that situation because we will come back to it a little bit throughout the show, but I don't want to focus too much on that. But I think we have a general consensus of the Mrs. Best Reviews page and Watch Your Mouth reviews that, like, she did too much. He fell for the bait, but we still, everyone knows he's immature. It's very clear. I mean, the man don't even understand how to get storage. So, you know, that's all I say on that. So the next scene we see of the show is a pointless one that we've been seeing since like 2009, 10. Yandel, and Mendices. I'm gonna try and be nice, y'all, because I know some of y'all be like, "Oh, Mrs. Best, I don't agree with your opinion. I don't know why you against." I love Yandy. I support her products. I've used her skincare line. I think she's a wonderful businesswoman. I think she's a shitty manager for artists, and I think that she's a shitty reality TV cast member. I just feel like at the level she's at with her businesses, the education that she's have, the space that she's in with her family, with the kids getting older, I just feel like there's not much that she can give. There's not much that's interesting. We find out basically, I love the relationship Yandy has with little Mendices. I will say that. I like how she embraces all of his kids as her own, even the ones that he made while with her behind her back. I will say that. So I'll give her that. But the scene was a bunch of nothing. Mendices comes in and is basically upset because he did a Shannon Sharp interview, and he says that they always want to talk about his past and stuff like that. I don't know who cares anymore. You went to jail.
I want to talk about this because I actually found the scene interesting, surprisingly. Because I watched him on Shannon Sharp. I don't know if they aired all of it, but I did watch a little bit of it. And the thing that they were talking about was, in this scene, was him saying that he gave up Judy's address as collateral when he was dealing. You know, this is all alleged because you know this is still legal shit. I mean, this is not a double jeopardy case yet because there's still a limitation. But what I'm going to say is this. And we're going to get to it because I know we got to talk about Judy. But I want men especially to take not only speech therapy, but I want y'all to get media trained. And the reason why I say get media trained when you want to be in this lifestyle is because when you don't get media trained, you end up saying things that automatically make you feel like you're a fucking fool. And I'm going to tell you this, when he said this reminded me of when Jim Jones took his ass over to Angela Yee's podcast and said that Nancy taught him how to tongue kiss.
Yeah.
And then when he realized what he had said, he goes, well, not like that. Like she didn't actually do it. She, you know, just put her tongue. And then he couldn't escape out of it because all we focus on is what you said. And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I believed it. Just like I believed, I don't care what it was supposed to sound like. I believe that that's what you did. And instead of you just standing in it, because you already said it, it's like, don't feel bad because you said it. And honestly, I'm not going to, you know, berate Judy's mothering skills. I'm not going to do that on this channel because that's not fair to her. We will. I'm sure you will get there, and if you want to do it, that's fine because I don't.
No, I feel like with parents when they're Judy's age, it's obvious based on the choices that Mendices made that she wasn't the ideal parent. I think that parents are humans and they do make mistakes, but I don't know this lady. She is not an intentional cast member on this show. So I
feel like she's said and done enough to make me feel like, see, and this is my problem with why I didn't really think it was really that bad of what he said, because I actually listened to what he said. So I don't think it was that bad. It just didn't make Judy look great. But my thing is this. She came on this show intentionally not to look great her damn self. Like she came arguing with your baby mamas as if she was your wife. And that's the thing. A lot of these mothers, I'm starting to notice a pattern with a lot of these mothers. when we talk about Nancy, when we talk about Judy, when we talk here, we can go back to Leslie on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. We can talk about Mama D. Y'all have the most emotional, ancestral relationships with y'all sons that looks fucking ridiculous when it's on camera.
I think that's a commonality for a lot, unfortunately, of single moms.
And we need to start talking about this
Yeah, because
because we
I
need to make
actually have
y'all
former
aware.
friends I've seen do that with their sons. And now
Mm-hmm.
that this former friend, so when we both mutually knew, now that their son is becoming older, there's obviously some issues the young man is going to have. He started to have behavioral issues in school, all sorts of things. So, it does take a village and to raise a kid, but it's also important, especially for boys, to have a father, the same way a girl, ideally needs a mother. So I think that definitely shows. I think that a lot of these women, and you see it in their sons, and even the things that their sons allow the moms to do. I think they put a lot of guilt on their kids, which they shouldn't. These kids did not ask to be here. It is not the children's fault that you decided to spread your legs to somebody that you didn't know would stay, or that you spread your legs to somebody who ended up abandoning you. Either way, it's not okay to teach your anger, your bitterness, your hate, towards your
It's
kid.
not
And
even
it's
that they're
not
doing that.
good to spoil them either.
Yeah, it's not even that they're doing that. They're inserting themselves in their sons' lives as if they're the wife.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I kind of felt like that's why when he said what he said, I understood what he was talking about because oftentimes, because we come from the Bay Area, what he was saying about giving up addresses. See, what most men did back in those times is they didn't give their mama's address, they gave their grandmama's address because 9 out of 10, whoever was after you ain't finna kill your grandmama because they relate to
Yeah.
having their own grandmother. That grandmother always is cooking. 9 out of 10, she know who at her door. You done came
Mm-hmm.
up there and got a plate of food. So he gave grandmama a house because grandmama is safe.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Ain't nobody finna kill nobody grandmama. Your mama,
Mm-hmm.
that might be something different. But your grandmama, no, that's what they did back then where we are from. They gave the grandmama address. So that's why when he said that, I was like, well, what did you say that was really that bad? Because where we're from, they did that. They gave grandmama address. They
Here's
pop
the
up over grandmama
thing,
house.
like coming up, you could look up my daddy. He sold drugs. He did what he did. He hustled the same way Mendices did, right? This is how I grew up. We grew up, there's cocaine literally in window seals and shit. And he did his time, so that's why I'm able to talk about it. But there were instances where he had to give up information. Uh, if he was in situations like that, 9 times out of 10, your family's not at risk unless you do something shady for
Mm-hmm.
the job or you don't do what you're supposed to do. That's the only time. So here's the thing, like when you're in the streets, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive.
Yeah.
His mama being mad about that, I can understand her being bothered, but I don't fully think that she was so bothered, because if she was truly bothered, they would have had the conversation off camera. This is why I just cannot with Yandy, Mendices, or the story.
Exactly. And that was what I was about to say. I felt like this situation was not that big of a deal. The fact that he was really that upset about it, because he looked upset. I didn't think that he was faking that for cameras. He looked upset. But my thing is this: it'd be different if your mama was over there working at somebody's cleaners and chicken shack part time and was actually bringing in. Yeah, stop laughing at me. But it would be different if she worked at the cleaners and the chicken shack and actually was
Stop.
bringing home income. Like I would feel differently about that. Yeah, you wrong as hell. Your mama working hard and stuff, but you
Mendices had
better.
to explain that his mom was very absent. She was one of the moms that would leave her kids with grandma or whatever family member was available or alone when they got old enough so that she could go get high, party, drink, do whatever she had to do. Which I believe, because if he grew up in Harlem, Brooklyn, the Bronx, New York, it seems like,
That was
especially
common.
during the time that Mendices was coming up, you was either doing the crack or selling the crack.
Yeah.
So I don't fault him. I think Mendices is a good person. I think that uh, it shows, it definitely reflects in his children that he's a
Yes,
decent
I was just gonna
person.
say that. It
Yeah.
shows, and especially when he had Lil Mendices there, he goes, I did this so you wouldn't have to do it at all.
Yeah.
And you know what? And that's a real thing. But at the same time, you kind of did to your son what your mama did to you, which you missed out on a lot of his time growing up. He's not at
Mm-hmm.
an age where he's grown, but at the same time, you missed a lot of years. And I think that for me, a lot of times that's why I said, moms, your son is really what you make him to be. It really
Yeah.
is. We see it in Scrappy, we see it in Mendices, we see it in Jim Jones, we see it. Your son is going to be exactly what you make him to be.
Hmm.
Because you understand, moms are us being men, we're connected to you. You're connected to our hearts. You really are. So you have to understand, he's only doing this as a sense that that's what he was taught to do. It's to always abandon because there's always going to be somebody going to take care of him. And luckily, it was his wife,
Hmm.
but it was going to be his mama. It was going to be his grandmama. That's why them grandmamas were so involved because
Hmm.
that's what it is. So yeah, I didn't. I felt a way about it, but it was when I was listening to the interview, I didn't feel like he really said anything
He
that
didn't say
wasn't
nothing
nothing.
bad. He didn't say nothing too bad. I think that Miss Judy is definitely difficult, but I also think that Yandy might have been like, well, talk about it on camera so at least you guys could get a check. I just feel like that's Yandy in the background.
I hope
But
I pray that ain't Andy in that background.
I'm telling you, that's probably Yandy on the background
Okay.
because she has no reason to be on the show. She has nothing herself. She has no beef with any of these women because all Yandy do is run from beefs. She act like she's gonna fight and never do. All she does is run from beefs. That's what she does. That's why she's on Atlanta and no longer New York. She killed that series, so she came here. So I listen. It is what it is with Miss Yandel. So we're going to move it along because I feel like they have the same storyline. Every time that Yandy, Judy, Mendices are on TV, there's an issue in the family. Either fucking Yandy's offended at Judy, Judy's offended at Yandy, even, or they're both bothered by Mendices. So I'm just tired of it. So the next thing we see is Spice coming back from her performance in Grand Cayman. We find out that she has to get stents removed from her previous health issue that she had. We also find out that Spice has a hernia. And because she has another hernia, and apparently it is a large hernia, she's unable to have the stents removed. So she gets very stressed out. All I wrote in that scene is we get to see Spice's sister. I don't remember her name, but beautiful woman. I am one of the people who feels that royal blue Spice be wearing looks terrible on her, especially the wigs. It just doesn't look good to me. But when she did, it was later in the show. She wore like at the end of the show with Rasheeda and them. She had wore like this turquoise wig with some blonde notes, and that was much better. Spice needs to use a little less spice with that. But other than that, it's the same shit. Her health issues. I'm not being an asshole. I just feel like if you was really that fucking sick, why are you on camera? If you're really this fucking sick, why are you away from your kids continuously going under anesthesia? Like, it's a lot. Like, if you're that ill, I would prefer if we got less Spice or just Spice by herself instead of her fighting and hollering with all of these people. You're
I
so
agree.
ill, but then you're doing all of this. And I actually had surgery not too long ago and am just now getting out of the recovery zone for a hernia. So one of the biggest things that can bring it back, it's kind of like an ulcer, depending on the type of hernia you have, stress to your body, physical stress, which she claims it was from being opened up, having her chest open, things of that nature. But hollering, arguing, these are all things like if you really are this sick, you should not be doing. And if you're doing it for a check, like you say, God gave you a second chance at life. He did, but he also won't hesitate to teach your ass a lesson because at this point, it's looking like she's trying to profit off of her illness. And I don't like that. I want her to get well. I want her to heal, but I want there to be a boundary that all people, not just Spice, have when going on television. Have some type of respect and decency. I think we as an audience would respect you if we just got you healing, you with your family, you handling that. But to see you claiming your healing and all of this and then doing all the crap that she's been doing, I'm just uninterested. But moving along, the next scene we get is Jessica White. Jessica White, Amy Luciani, Erica Mena, Yandy, Sierra Gates, and Rasheeda all meet up for yoga. Pretty much every woman on the show, except for the mothers and Rennie Rucci and Carly Red and somebody else, I believe.
Yeah, Spice wasn't there. Carly Rae
Well,
wasn't
we know why
there.
Spice wasn't there, but Carly, Rennie Rucci, Erica
Uh,
Banks. Boom. Erica Banks was
oh,
not there. I forget that she's a part of the show often.
me too. Yeah.
But they all meet for yoga. and basically like a little spa day that Jessica's trying to set up. She introduces the ladies to sound baths, which I have always wanted to go and like experience one in person. I am
I've
into.
never heard of them doing it outside. That was one thing I did question about that. I've always saw sound baths have to be in a room because of the walls and the echoing. It's supposed to actually enhance the experience. So the fact that they did it outside was really
I've
interesting.
seen them do it outside in Arizona, actually. They have resorts, like spa resorts. I saw it on another show, and they did it outside, but they were like outside in the wilderness. Like there was nothing.
Oh, okay. See,
There's
no, they were in
nothing
nobody's
nearby.
backyard, like in this one.
There's no
Okay.
cars. Yeah, it was a resort
Yeah.
that like specialized in sound baths and yoga. And I have to look it up.
I know where that is. I know what you're talking about. Because I wanted to go. I wanted to go to it, but it cost $3,000. I ain't got it. So
Look, I ain't got that shit either. That's
yeah,
2 months rent. What you mean?
yeah, exactly. I ain't got it. So that's
But I thought it was funny. The ladies, Yandy from Harlem, these ladies from the hood, they don't know what the fuck a sound bath is. So they were talking about, oh, this is hippie-ish. Sound baths are not hippie-ish.
they are
It may
not,
not
and that
be,
was a very ignorant comment,
it
Andy.
was.
That was
It may
very
not be
ignorant.
for you, but they are definitely not hippie-ish and very healing.
Hmm.
So I don't like when black people play that.
I
Oh, I'm
hate
black.
that.
I don't know what this is. Well, we black. We don't do that. Oh, we from the hood. I'm from the hood. I know what a sound bath is. I do yoga sometimes, and I see the value in it.
Hmm.
And honestly, that's Jessica saying, "Look, you bitches is too much." So I'm look, listen.
Right? I didn't blame her for that.
That's the one time I could not blame Jessica White. But
Me either. Yeah.
from this sound bath, we hear because Sierra comes in loud, ghetto, and rude, seeing that they're doing something quiet, decides to tap someone, chuckle, and speak, interrupt the person. I hate when they do that. Like these people coming on shows to kind of like on Couples Retreat when they were laughing at the
The medium,
yeah.
the
It's like
body language lady or something like that. Yeah,
yeah, they laugh
that pissed me off. If y'all
yeah.
go back to my videos, that shit pissed me off because I
Because
hate when black people do that. That shit makes us look
just
ignorant as
because
hell.
we're black doesn't mean that we have this. There are black people who have not been raised in the hood. There are
You know
black
what? I
people
honestly think that shit came from black people. Like I honestly feel like the sound baths and the meditations and stuff that had to come from voodoo or hoodoo, like or whatever, spiritual thing that Haitians did, and brought to from Africa. Everything like that shit is embedded in us, and y'all sitting up there talking about, oh, that's devil worshiping, and so that shit is ignorant. No, it's not.
Listen,
So
I just view it as Love and Hip Hop as a platform for people that pretty much no other reality show will take. So,
mm,
I'll leave it there. But
yeah.
so we hear statements basically. Bambi says to Sierra, oh, she broke the internet. Let me explain something to y'all. When Love and Hip Hop was filming, everybody knew it was filming. They did not break the internet. If the Shade Room ain't reported on you, if TMZ ain't reported on you, you did nothing. Neither reported on this so-called argument between Sierra and Scrappy. They just didn't. It looked more so like some leaked stuff because there was too many specifics. And when you go back to the scene, you don't see very many people holding out phones and stuff. So it seems like Sierra and Bambi, it seems like Bambi is happy or proud of Sierra for going off on him like that. And it seems like Sierra's proud of it. And I don't like that. I really don't like that. I really
I'm gonna
don't like
say
that.
this. I'm gonna say this because I and this is where I give Bambi way too much credit, and I shouldn't have because I should have known better. Because for you to really amp that up and
Mm-hmm.
not look at it as like, okay, well, friend, you overstepped your boundaries. Like, I got this. Don't worry about that. I got this. Like, I understand you may have been venting at that moment, but it's still not right. That's still the father of my children. That's still
Yes.
technically my husband. I still have to deal with that. Whatever repercussion that is, I have to deal with. I would
But
appreciate
we
it.
know Bambi has no respect for that man being the father of anybody's child because the one thing she talked about, oh, Sierra, you broke the internet. It was Bambi who broke the internet just about a month or two before this shit aired when she was disrespecting his underage daughter Imani that he has with the previous relationship and speaking on the business of how Erica Dixon disciplines her child.
Mm,
So I found it interesting that she wants to bring that up and is proud about that. And this is why a lot of people are not actually citing with Bambi when watching this season because of all the stuff that happened off camera that we saw. Like, as a 21-year-old, I had the rule of I ain't arguing with nobody under 18. As a fucking 25-year-old, I refuse to argue with anybody under 25. As a 31-year-old, I would never argue with anybody, honestly, under the age of 27, because now that I've matured a bit, it's just like you think you know shit that you really don't have no fucking clue about, even at those
I
ages.
ain't arguing with nobody. You right,
It's
I'm
like,
wrong. Move on. Like and that's the thing. And this is where because as I said, I had a lot. I thought Bambi was better than this. I really
I
did.
didn't.
Like in my mind, I really felt like because there's times where Bambi does make sense. There is times
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
does, but that this was not one of those times, and I was so
Mhm.
disappointed because when she said that, I thought for sure she was going to get Sierra together and say, "Look, I don't
No,
need no more problems."
that showed us that she talked about it with her probably right after it happened
Yep.
and did not
Yep.
care. And if you're supposed to be a mother, this great mother, and you want full custody isn't just about what you can provide. It's about respecting your children enough to respect the other party that played a part in them being here.
Right. No, and
You
I'm
don't
not
have to like
saying
him. You don't have to like Scrap. But at the same time, for the sake of your kids, which I've yet to hear her say, which is odd, because even in the messiest divorces of celebrities, specifically in the reality TV realm on this network and others, usually they're like, I'm just trying to, I don't want to speak on it too much because that is her dad. A good example of that, Kenya Moore. She won't say too much bad about Mark, but she'll still let us know what's going on. But if people try to take
it's
it too
sort
far,
of
that's still Brooklyn's dad. Bambi never brings up what's best for her
that's
children,
because you have to understand these
regardless.
are two different age ranges. Kenya's 50, Bambi's 40. Let me explain something to you. Kenya has lived enough life and maturity. That's why they say the last years of your 50s is always your best years because you have a lot more understanding and a
Wisdom.
lot more depth and a lot more wisdom to
Mhm.
really understand a situation for what it is. Bambi's not there. And that's where we kind of understand her because one, you got with somebody who really was not mature enough to have you in a sense. And when I say have you, I mean have the life of husband, family, white picket fence, whatever y'all want to call it. He was not ready for that. But you
Mm,
still egged it on and you still pushed it. So
mm.
now you have to deal with the repercussions. But it does not behoove you to go get your little hood ass girlfriend over there
Yep.
to go and cuss him out at
Yep.
a public event in front of
Hmm.
all of production, in front of all those people and not check her on it. That's where I start to fault Bambi. This is because last week I didn't fault her. I felt like what she was asking for was reasonable because if we look at the circumstances, Scrappy still ain't got no house. So where you gonna house those kids that you want 7 days on, 7 days off with,
Hmm.
Scrappy? Let's be
Oh no, I
real
think
here.
Scrappy has a house. I think it's Mama D's house.
Now, no, now he does. No, now they just put that shit on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now he has a house, but mind you, this was months ago.
Hmm.
Then he was living up under somebody had mama house. Some judges gonna say, no, where is your house?
Hmm.
Where is your stability of income? I need to see it before I let these kids in your care. See, some judges, and that's why I say you have to be careful who you elect as a judge.
Hmm.
And we
Oh,
have the power
absolutely.
of that
Yeah.
because I'm trying to tell you, them judges, if they really looking for the best interest of them kids, Scrappy would have had him a house. He would have made sure each kid had their own individual bedrooms because you make the money to get it. So I don't want to hear that shit. So I was on Bambi's side last week when I said she is deserving of having those kids full time because she was able to get the house for those kids to be in. He over there at Mama D's. That does not count for me.
She's obviously the main
Breadwinner. Yeah, don't worry.
financial
Yeah,
person,
I
and
do believe
was
that.
the one who. So I think that she should have them absolutely. But listen, you weren't wrong in that. With my issue with Bambi is, and it says specifically in my notes, Bambi mentions that Scrappy, when talking to Sierra about the issue and the confrontation with Scrappy, she says specifically, his whole family suffers from emotional incest. Then she goes on to say, following that's a good reason why basically Sierra's getting at him. Here's my thing. As the mother of his children, it's very simple. Aside from the divorce, aside from everything, what's best for your kids is their father being respected and treated in a good light. What's best for your kids is not someone you want them to call auntie going off on their daddy and then showing up to give them a Christmas gift as if it's all love. What's best for your kids is to do whatever you can to protect them from the media and to
Right.
protect them from viewing their father in a negative light or in a way that the media or their auntie Sierra
Right.
tries to portray him.
No,
Erica
that
Mena
yeah.
got into it with Scrappy too, but she did not. And Scrappy, when arguing with Erica Mena, they was in each other's faces as well. There was no mention from her. She sat there and cried, but eventually she knew when to stand down. And at the same time, she also did not
But here's the
cry,
thing.
oh, he was aggressive. You did all of this to me. He behaved the same way with her, and we heard less. But then you go, Sierra, knowing he did this with them. So it all comes down to Bambi. You need to check your fucking friends because right now y'all are the bitter baby mama club.
I agree with you when it comes to that because I don't think Bambi was wrong in what she said. I think that that was not the place to say it.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that I think that that should have been a conversation with your lawyers about this situation, and then have the proof, which is this show, season one, season two, to let them know this is not the environment I want my children in because this is what this lady does. And you can show them all the tapes because Mama D has not changed season one to now. She is
Mhm.
still the exact same lady. So if that really was a concern of yours, you would hold that off, not say anything until your lawyers are present, and then you tell them this is what this man is under. So that way they have an idea of whether or not that's healthy for your children.
And then even so, telling your lawyers that all you're gonna do, if anything, is make it to where grandparents' rights are terminated or reduced to where she might have a supervised visit or something. But they're
And
not.
I honestly, I wouldn't be mad at that. And let me explain why. I would not be mad at that. And let me
Mhm.
explain why. Because there is a problem that I have when grandmothers, because what they do is they poison children's mind to say, oh, well, your daddy's not really this. Your mama just being crazy. Your daddy's not really this. Your mama's just doing this. Your mama is just doing that. So when they get home with their mama, that goes back and then it becomes this contentions. I need that to be supervised. I need to make sure that the only influence that she have is grandmama baking them cakes and cookies and giving them presents and
Yeah.
actually showing love as a grandmother. Not to say that she's not doing that. I'm sure she's a great grandmother. I'm not questioning any capability of Mama D's grandmother style. I'm sure she's a wonderful grandmother. But where she lacks in her actual mother when it comes to her son is a different story.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And
Mhm.
there's proof of what I'm talking about in all of these shows. The fact
Mhm.
that she cannot mind her business when it comes to her son's life is
Mhm.
proof enough for me to understand what Bambi is saying.
Yeah.
That's
But
all
at
I'm
the
saying.
same time, I think it all comes back. Mama D has a point, and Mama D has and is an issue in that aspect. But ultimately, that's why they're divorcing because it's up to the man to check your mama. My mother-in-law at one point tried to do too much when I first got with my husband. I had to check her ass, and I stand by it. I stand by it, and it actually made it to where we have a wonderful relationship and have for many years, and had no issues after because I saw where it was going, and she's a Taurus too, you know, a little loopy. I saw
Mhm.
where that shit was going and nipped that shit in the bud so quick with no need to go blast her online. I didn't talk to my friends and stuff about it, like because that's his mom. I'm gonna respect her, and she's been nothing but respectful. But she's also not like a fucked up parent. She's not as
I was gonna say,
not
yeah,
Mama D.
yeah,
My
yeah,
mother-in-law is
that's
nothing like
Mama
fucking
D, yeah, Mama D, like I said, Mama D, Nancy, Judy,
hot mess express.
Leslie. It's just
Hot
like
mess
I
express.
don't understand mothers that do this, and y'all women are weird, and y'all need to heal your daddy issues.
Yeah, for real. But
Like,
moving
seriously.
on, we Bambi saying all these things about emotional incest. I think it's interesting that she says that just because I think that there's that on both ends, because let's not forget her mother-in-law was something else too. Uh, it's just been a lot with their situation. So then we see that Safari comes up when the ladies are discussing. I don't remember how he came up, but Safari comes up, and I guess Rennie Rucci had relayed to some of the women that she saw Safari and Jessica White flirting, which to me is messy.
That's how that
Because,
came up. That's how that came up. It came up
yeah,
exactly like that. That was messy.
that's
Erica
messy.
already had got a tip from this before she even came to this event, so I think that that's how they worked that out.
Mhm.
So that's how that happened. So yeah, go ahead,
I just
continue.
think it's messy. Like Rennie Rucci, you're barely on camera, and there's all these accusations of you not writing your music, and honestly, you weren't interesting. No disrespect, no shade. She was not interesting on this show until she really kind of started to dive into the relationship with her mom. And then, unfortunately, her mom ended up passing away. So I'm just like, I don't feel like Rennie Rucci really needs to be on the show as of yet because I don't, she doesn't give. And it looks like she just does messy little things.
Yeah, it was messy, and to me, and here's my thing: we gonna get to this whole whether or not she flirted with Safari or not, or can I get there now?
You can go there now. That's what the topic
Oh,
is.
okay. Let me explain something to y'all. This girl is so gung ho over Nick Cannon's philandering ass that she ain't got no time to deal with another crazy ass motherfucker like Safari. I don't bit more believe she flirted with that man than be sitting there. And I'm not going to bat for her because I don't like her. But I'm not going to go to bat. But right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't think she's flirting. I think she's just a touchy feely kind of person because I'm touchy feely. I get that.
I
Like
don't even think she was touchy feely. Like going back to the scene, he came over, he tried to flirt, and she was like, "I'm not looking for a relationship, but I'll be your friend. I'll make space." Like that's a respectful way of saying, like, I'm not interested in you, but if something was to ever be wrong, I'm not a bad person, so I would be supportive. She did not flirt with that man.
She didn't. That's why I was like, and to me, I can't. She can't go an episode without talking about Nick Cannon. So that should let y'all know right then and there that that girl didn't bit mo do that shit. That's why I was looking at all of them, especially Erica with that vein and that pout that she was doing over there neck mat. I was looking at Erica and I'm like, now see, this is where I'm about to get in your ass if you say one thing out of line because y'all don't have to pick at this girl. That's what y'all were trying to do. Erica
and it's kind of like y'all coming in here, y'all want to pick at this girl and be messy and all of that, but who gives a fuck? You're here because of a contractual agreement, not because you actually liked each other.
No. I'm gonna do one better. Erica, who gives a fuck? You ain't with that man no more.
That's why I'm saying outside of the contract, that's not your man anymore. And then Erica at one point in this show said when discussing the situation with Safari, or not Safari, with Bambi and I get it because I'm still going through it. What are you going through, Erica Mena? What are you going through?
Oh, the fact that she didn't get the child support she thought she was gonna get.
She got $1,200 a month because, and that's what I was saying, and I stand by it. Because the amount of child support, half the time you bitches get pregnant by niggas you know ain't gonna be there for you, you know ain't gonna be beside you, and you know ain't gonna be there for your kid because you the second baby mama and you done seen him mess up with the other kid, Bambi, Mena. Like that's all I'm saying. So you knew what you were getting yourself into, and then you still expect to get cashed out for the kid. You have an income. 1,200 or what? I think she's getting 1,200 per kid, so a total of 2,400 a month.
Oh, I thought it was 1,200 and all. That's why I was mad.
I think it's per kid, but even
I'm gonna have to look that up because because if it's
even if it's still that's just in the child support. He still has to. When I looked at
because here's the thing, 1,200 to me
help pay for daycare. He has to help pay for flights. He has to provide the medical care. So he's paying the 1,200. That's just in her cash, but he still also legally has to.
My thing is this: like to me, if it's 1,200 per kid, then I'm gonna retract what I said. If it's only 1,200 for both of them kids, no. He need to come up a little bit more because she has the kind of job. It's not like she works, at a call center or, at State Farm somewhere doing data entry. She actually has a job that causes her to travel. So she's going to need a nanny. It's not like he's available to take the kids.
Well, that's the thing. That's covered in the order. He has to pay for nannying and childcare.
Oh, okay. That's why I said I need to see it because I need to see what exactly he's paying for.
Everybody be so blinded just wanting to be on the side of the women. We forget to check the details of the paperwork when it's given.
That's why I said I need to see the paperwork because I don't know what he's paying for. It just sounded like he was only paying the 1,200 for the kids.
No, he has to pay for child care. He has to help with, I believe.
I'm mad. But the Scrappy shit, no. He needs to pay. I'm sorry because I know he's not going to have those kids full time. I know he's not going to have those kids for 7 days.
No.
Men are doing that so they can avoid paying child support. And that's what I don't stand by. I feel like if you're not going to get those kids and actually have them, because I tell women all the time, get the kids to the man. Get them kids to that man. I just like I said with Nick Cannon and all them other.
But that's the thing. Women don't want to give the kids to the man,
and that's so
even
stupid.
when they need to because they want the money for themselves.
And that's stupid because at the end of the day, what he's giving you does not equal what you would be giving him in the same sentence. he's gonna have to worry about giving all his checkup for rent for an extra bedroom because he has to provide a proper living environment for the kids. He has to spend $1,200 a month on groceries. Meanwhile, you only pay him $200 to $400 a month, baby. Do the math. And he has to take care of those kids full time.
I
Absolutely.
think a lot of women, though,
Want the control. That's what it
I think
is.
half of the women are dealing with irresponsible men. Like my dad
Hmm.
was one of those fathers that went to every court date for us, was not against the child support or anything like that. But I was with my mom full time. But knowing my father, both of my parents are fucked up, just so everybody know. But like, if I was with my dad, it would have been just as bad as being with my mom. So in my case, like child support for them was literally just a battle for control, child support and custody. But neither party, really, they should have sent me to be with my grandma, my Nana Zenobia. That's where the fuck we should have been sent. Okay. Because that's who did it. My mama liked to go out, party, travel while because she was a college student by childhood. My dad was on the streets dealing dope or in jail. So it's like most of the time I was with my grandma anyway, which I think is the case for a lot of kids. I don't think that for,
And
Scrappy and
that's
Bambi,
and yeah,
but I do think if Scrappy
no.
were to have half custody of these kids, that Mama D would probably have them babies a lot. And that, knowing Mama D, no disrespect, is not in the
And
best
that's
interest of
exactly
the
what I
kid.
said.
Yeah.
I felt like any judge that grants this shit, you must not be watching this show. Just to understand that this man ain't gonna do, and a lot of men do this, and I don't understand this. Why create children if you ain't gonna give them to your mama to raise?
Yep. And I think on women, the question needs to be why keep having children? Because they have 3 kids together, but they've had issues the whole marriage of the same caliber. Why
Hmm.
keep having baby number 2 and 3, Bambi, when he showed you with one and with Imani that he don't like to pay child support, he don't like to pay bills, he don't like to stay faithful, and he shuts down in any type of a disagreement or confrontation. Why would you
The same
expect
thing with Safari,
different?
Erica.
Exactly. Why are you women expecting this man to treat you different, especially when you're the second baby mama? You were the second woman he had a kid with. Like,
No, she thought it was different because he married. It was that Tara shit, that Tara and Amina and Peter
he
Gunn
would have
shit. He was
married, he would have married Erica, but she didn't want his ass. So that's the thing. He married who was stupid enough to sign the paper. And look what it got you. I stand by it. I don't care what nobody says. That's my only issue with Bambi. I think she's an okay mom. I think she needs to work on, checking her friends. But those kids are taken care of. They're clean, they're healthy, they're beautiful. She provides them with housing, and she seems to have them with her more than with a nanny, which some people with money would do. So I do think she's a good mother. However, I think the circumstances of her becoming a mom and a wife are warped. And I think that she is wanting us to feel bad about things that everyone saw happening, herself included. But moving on from those two, because they're just a hot ass mess, we come back to Jessica. These women were everywhere with these conversations because they went into different rooms for their little oxygen treatments. And then some people just did
mm-hmm.
yoga and stretching. The stretching looked amazing, by the way. But Jessica, she made a comment that I thought was funny. She said that she barely speaks about Nick Cannon. Every episode that this woman has been on our television screen, Nick Cannon has come up. Then she
Y'all,
also says that she feels misunderstood. And I think that the reason she feels misunderstood, I think she knows she's talented and beautiful. I think the reason she feels misunderstood is because she realizes now that she's not with Nick Cannon, that people kind of looking at her like a joke. She's probably struggled to date other men because they like, oh, so you want monogamy from me. But when you was with that nigga, you was faithful to him and he could sleep with whoever he want. Why can't I have that? I think that most of her feelings of being misunderstood, as she calls it, I really think that it's because she realizes that people don't perceive her as an intelligent person and or something that's respected probably among men, because you have to kind of have, in my opinion, you have to have questions about your own self and your being, or some form of low self-esteem or trauma in order to be okay with something like that. We are trained, I don't care what your sexuality is. Most people, whether it's a man with a man, a woman with a woman, a trans person with someone who is not trans, or a heterosexual relationship like mine and my husband's, I think that it's people looking at her like, why would you agree to that? Like, why did you do that?
No. This is what it is, and I'm tired of talking about this shit because
All she talks about, James.
she's
That
pissing
never
me
comes up.
off. Like, if y'all want to see me go off, watch the other videos of this shit when it came to her. But I'm gonna say this, Jessica, I want you to admit you fell for the okey doke that this motherfucker fed to you, and you ate it because you thought that he was going to do the same shit he did with Mariah. If I were to believe this 8-year relationship, which I don't believe it at all. I believe he had you 1, 2, and 3, and 4 all in the line and told y'all all the same shit. Hence, y'all getting pregnant by his ass. And you want us to have sympathy for you to say that you were misunderstood? No, you understood really well. See, the problem is he travels a lot and is in different cities a lot to many different women in them same cities a lot. Hence why he has so many fucking children, all born within the same 2 to 3 years. It is the same okey doke men feed y'all. And that's the problem when you don't have discernment of your own to realize, one, this is a celebrity. One, he has a history of cheating. One, he was married to one of the biggest names in the fucking world, and she even left his ass. What does that tell you about him? That he cannot be trusted. But yet and still,
and he's having all these kids, and he's irresponsible because
I was just going to say that. Yet he's still having all these children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He couldn't even find the time to spend with the kids.
And I almost want to guarantee you, if there's ever a day Mariah say, Nick, come home, he would be there.
But y'all want to make laws up at the Supreme Court saying that abortion federally is not legal.
Right.
What y'all need to do is start putting some fucking laws on these men, and maybe then they'll wrap the shit up.
Absolutely, because because the problem,
if each of them files for child support, he's done. He's bankrupt. He's broke. I don't care how much money he has.
Yeah, that's why he feeds him that okey doke bullshit. Yeah, you the woman of my dreams, and we gonna get married one day. I'm pretty sure he told all them half of that shit.
I don't know why a man that's with that many women and who's busted that many nuts. Y'all got to understand that when he's saying he love you, he loves that meow.
Let me explain something to you, because I think after baby number 9 came, any woman that had a baby with him after the fact of
baby number 9, stop.
No, after baby number 9, because sometimes, hey, he had twins in the midst of that shit. I think he had two or three sets of twins. So I'm gonna give him baby number 9. I'm not gonna say 7 because maybe 6 turned into 8. So maybe I'm just gonna say after baby number 9. Any woman that had a baby with him after 9, you are an idiot. Point blank.
I think that any woman who had a baby with him after 4,
because sometimes.
No, for me as a woman, and I'm gonna say this because women really have to do better with that. 4 kids, right? If he's married or something, or came out of a marriage, fine. But to not be married and to have 4 kids with 4 different people, that's a lot.
But that's why I'm saying 9, because I think there was a time where he wasn't having those babies after 4, back to back. After 6 happened, that's when the motherfucker started to multiply and had double the kids within 2 years. That's why I'm saying, I said 9, because I feel like after that, y'all, come on, y'all are crazy, especially baby mama number 10 with baby number 10 and 11 and 12. Y'all had to be out y'all fucking minds to really think whatever this man fed you was really going to be legitimate if he's literally having babies after baby. That is crazy to me.
Listen,
and so for Jessica White to say,
put my body up to make people to be nauseated, to be putting myself at risk of fibroids and other birth complications, to be fucking putting myself at risk of postpartum depression, shit that stay with you years after you push the motherfucker out. Women need to do better. I ain't putting my body up at risk for nobody's big-headed child.
Oh, absolutely. All because this man felt like God told him to have all these fucking kids. Because you
God
got
did not
lupus.
tell you that.
I want him to stop saying that shit. I
Stop
literally
saying
want y'all
that.
to stop saying that, because when I read that shit, I'm like, you are out your fucking mind. So
God did not say that.
But
And
to
if
wrap
he
this shit
did,
up,
none of us was alive to hear it.
right. So to wrap this shit up, Jessica White, baby, you're not misunderstood. You had a stupid ass moment in your life. We all have them, no matter how big our ages are. We all have them. We've
Girl
all
just
been in a
didn't.
relationship where we thought somebody was the one and that they were the best thing since sliced bread, ham, and cheese. We honestly get that. We all have been there. But what I'm saying to you is learn, shut up, move on, and go about your life, is what we are saying. Leave that. Sometimes the blessing in it is you didn't become one of them baby mamas. Sometimes the blessing in it is just that.
Yeah, she needs to look at that. There's a lot of women with him, and they're all,
because
like, let's just call it, they're all laughed at. People are snickering. Nobody respects these women.
I'm not even laughing at them. I'm looking at them to say, I wonder 10 to 15 years from now how your child is going to feel. No, because I don't think this shit is funny. I think this shit is ridiculous. But my thing is, my concern is for these children. Like when they get 10 to 15, those kids are going to have the understanding that baby number A had more of a relationship with my father than I did because I'm baby number X. Like I'm just saying, like I'm looking at it from that perspective.
The kids are gonna also, I think about it with Mariah Carey's kids. They don't have the opportunity to get to know their siblings because there's too many of them.
There's too many of them. And the thing about it is by the time they do want to, they're gonna be grown. Nick, whether or not, God's favor is there, he may not be here. And the thing about it is that they have to get to know the child and why this child is even here and what's their story. And then they can say, well, we had our dad up until we were like 18 years old. He bought us our first car and stuff. Baby at the end of the alphabet may not have had that experience because he may have passed away before the baby turned 60 to get the first car. You understand? Like, you have to understand, like, because obviously he gonna have kids till he fucking die. That's obvious because he continues to have them. But my thing is this, like, you have to understand what that does to children. And for mothers, the reason why I'm putting this responsibility on the mothers is because you have to think of if your child is really going to be fulfilled in having both parents present. And he cannot spread himself around to all those kids like that emotionally. Because a lot of things you ignorant motherfuckers say is he has enough money to pay for all those kids. It's not about that. It's about
that's the problem. Because people be having kids and just concerned about the money, even responsible people. Yeah. People having kids for the wrong fucking reasons. Now, yes, you should make sure that your finances are stable, or at the very least, you're not on food stamps when you're having a kid.
But that's a small part of it, though. That's what I want people to understand.
Money is not a small part of
it. That is
it's not everything.
It's not everything. It's about, can he give his time? What is he going to teach these kids? What is he going to raise them to be? And are they going to be somebody he's going to be?
I want to ask Nick Cannon, because you got about 6 daughters. How would you feel if one of your daughters ended up with somebody like you? Exactly. I want to know. I want to know. Are you okay with your daughter never being married, shared amongst fucking 10 other sister wives, and nutted in whenever the fuck the niggas in town? Because if you're okay with that, Nick Cannon, hey, do you? But I really don't think he's okay.
And are you okay with your baby mama coming up on TV talking about how she missed you, how she has this 8-year relationship that she can't even explain happened? Because 8 years ago, you were still married to Mariah Carey.
Hot mess.
So I want to know when this 8-year relationship started and when was she okay to say that?
And then she keeps mentioning that he's a powerful man. And like that word specifically, and I'm just, I don't know. We'll see with Jessica White. I think she needs to shut up about Nick Cannon and focus on stuff.
I really think that in any time she comes on camera, the moment that she mentions him, I think MTV should fine her every time she mentions it if she's not going to give.
Or at the reunion, I want to see clips because you guys have done this for other people. I want to see a clip of you guys counting how many times she brought him up, because this is like, I don't even bring up my own husband that damn much, and we together happy and live together. I don't understand why
And
every
then
single
for her to say she does not bring him up at all when the entire existence of her being on the show was
right.
on the back of him. I'm sick of her. I'm telling you,
She found
I
a way to
want
bring
to
up the
like
ex
her.
while talking to a new nigga. So that's
Right.
how you know. I'm like,
I want to like her. I really do. I want to because she's beautiful. She
mhm.
is, I love her energy. I love her vibe. I do. But I cannot get past because she cannot get past this situation with Nick Cannon. I'm sick of hearing this. I don't want to hear from any of the baby mamas. I don't care. I
Well,
don't care.
move it on along because that's about it with Jessica White. We have to bring up Nick Cannon because that's all she talks about. But moving
Mhm.
it along, the next scene we get from this damn episode. This episode was they packed a lot into an episode. Okay,
Right?
Bell Collective, RHOA. Take note. Never thought I'd say that from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, but you can find interesting episodes. You just have to cast differently. And if you look at Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, they change their cast often and they try to, they got that part down. Anywho, the next thing we see is Pointless. Mendices meets with Crazy Judy, his mama. Judy comes up all upset. Basically, she was hurt. I'm not going over that scene. I'm not wasting the energy on this fucking channel. If you want to say something, James, because I respect you, you are welcome to say something.
I'm not saying a fucking thing because I'm telling y'all, I let me explain something to y'all. I have respect for everybody's mother. I do. I
Mhm.
have a respect for everyone's mother. But my thing is this, and I'm not talking about Judy at all. I'm just talking in a generalized statement of you mothers who sit up here, and you fathers too. Y'all ain't exempt from this shit. Y'all do this shit too. Y'all escape your children and leave them with mama and grandmama and auntie and sister and things while you go out and run the fucking streets. And then when they actually grow up and resent your ass for this shit and say you were not there, you want to get in your feelings about that shit. No,
Yep.
no, 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 no. You cannot do that. You
Mhm.
can't get in your feelings for the child you left to your mama or to your auntie while you went out and ran the fucking streets and did whatever the fuck you did. You
Mhm.
cannot do that. And I
I
don't
think,
like
I think
mothers who do that.
Carly Red, because she's someone who openly has admitted to not raising her kid.
She
Uh,
did.
yeah, but when her daughter Jasmine tried to talk to her about it, she was more receptive than some would be, and seems to have, since that come up, seems to have tried to make more of an effort to be around her. I think that's a good example of how you can handle that if you're not going to go to therapy.
Or just take full accountability and whatever they give to you, you
Yeah,
just take it because
listen, take
you're not
accountability,
perfect.
and then make an actual change. Because a lot of
Make it
times
actually
that's all kids want is to see that you're making that effort, even into adulthood. That's all they want.
yes, because now um I'm not saying Angie Stone's daughter how she wanted Angie Stone to take her
No,
kids so
you
she could
did
run the show.
not bring that up.
No, I am because that was the most ridiculous shit to me. That we're not going to repeat the same cycle, baby. You got your kids, you're going to raise them. But my thing is this: I am sick of parents getting upset at how their child perceived their upbringing
Yeah,
because you have to understand upbringing causes us to be what we are today as adults.
it
We
does.
follow exactly what we were taught. We follow exactly how we were raised. We pick people who do exactly what you did to us because that's what's familiar to us. So when he tells you, "Ma, you were not there. Ma, you did this. Mom, you did that. Mom, you can't explain this. Mom, you can't explain that." You can't. You cannot undo it. So the fact that Judy got all upset in that conversation, this is the second time she got upset over that shit that he did said. I need you to be accountable next time. I need you to say, you know what, you are absolutely right. I didn't do it because you know what? I just didn't know how to do it.
Yeah,
That's
or at the
easier to
very
say.
least, if you can't even admit it, just say, all I could say is I'm sorry and I'll make changes going
No, that's
forward.
not enough for me. I'm sorry. No, I love you.
Listen,
I love you.
some people
That
don't have the capacity, and I think probably from school it makes me think about it from multiple perspectives. Some people
that's a cop out
truly,
though.
no, it may be a cop out, but for
It's a
some
cop
people
out.
that's as good as it gets. A lot of
No,
people
because
will
to
never
me,
get
that's
that
just
from
putting
their
sugar on
parents.
shit. That's just putting sugar on shit to make sure it
It
don't
is
stink.
sugar on shit, but if they actually follow it up and then show action, then it's not. But if they do, then the person knows what to get and they got to seek therapy. But I
My
just don't think people should realistically expect all the time, especially knowing how some of these parents are. to get that that's the correct response and the ideal response that needs to happen. But I don't think that people will get to that so
No,
soon,
because people
especially
don't
how
like to hold their
parents
parents
are.
accountable. That's the problem. I
Mhm,
get what you're saying, but people don't want to
mhm,
hold their parents accountable because they're afraid they're going to lose them. That's
mhm,
why no one does that. That's why no one really holds their parents accountable because you're afraid that they're going to take that personal and just abandon you altogether. And y'all
mhm.
can, and we as people, as human beings, when things are affecting our mental, where we can't move on because we're in our own way, we have to hold our parents accountable for that because at the end of the day, if we don't, we're always going to be where we are today. We'll never advance our lives. Luckily,
I'm
he
just
has a
saying,
wife that
hold your
said all that.
parents accountable, but don't expect to
Then
have
to
the
no, I
ideal
get what you're saying. That's a real statement too, guys. That's a real statement as well. Was what she's saying. Real statement. But what I'm saying is, he was lucky enough to have a wife that set all this shit up. So when he got out of prison, all he had to do was just fall in order. And not everybody is that lucky. Not everybody's that lucky. Not everybody comes on that luck up, come up shit. But what I'm saying is a lot of our issues as kids stem from our parents raising us. And the problem is if you feel stuck or if you feel like you in a place to where you can't move because of certain situations, then it all starts at home. Look at how you were raised. Start processing things,
That's
start
actually
journaling things, like start saying, hey, oh my God, I remember when I was 10 years old, my mama didn't buy me a birthday cake, and now I don't expect one from whoever I'm in. That's not normal.
yeah, yeah,
So it's like, you know what I'm saying? You guys have to start picking apart your lives and start understanding. I'm not saying go to your parents and point the finger. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is when things, when your parents get automatically upset over things that you say, that's when you start to investigate. Well, why do I feel this way? Why is this happening? And I think that that's what Mendices is doing.
introspection.
Yeah.
Very important. Very important.
Hmm.
The only
Absolutely.
last thing I have to say about pretty much Yandy and Mendices, because they don't really come up too much. I'm tired of these people referring to each other as husband and wife. Check me out. Check me the fuck out. I went to the courthouse, got married, and I don't like weddings, y'all. I don't like fucking weddings. Okay? I even took his last day. Okay? I went to the Social Security office afterwards with my marriage certificate to get my social change. And then I went to Department of Motor Vehicles, the DMV, on Heckenberger in Oakland. And I said, look, this nigga got me to marry him. I have to change my last name. True story. The lady laughed. True story. That's exactly what the fuck I said. Because I swore I would get married at like 30 and then start. Like, this was not supposed to happen. But I actually did that. And there was a $237.72 fee. I'll never forget it. You got to pay to do the shit. So why do y'all keep calling each other husband and wife? Yandy and Mendici, y'all is common law. Okay. The
The
only
hell,
reason,
y'all ain't even common law, is it?
she has his last name
It's
is
because she legally changed it.
and legally changed it. And then she didn't even change it. She's Yandy Smith Harris. How you go legally hyphenate?
See, and this is my problem with her. And this is my problem with Yandy because
Insult to people who actually are married, who actually did the work, and who actually put their accolades, all the things that they could attain, my business, Mrs. Best Reviews, and I put all that shit at risk for him to get 50-50, half of it, community property, okay? And you sitting up here talking about my husband, your wife ain't, I don't know what they are, but they are not husband and wife.
my thing is this because I think she didn't marry him legally because of the restitution thing because he still has to pay all that back.
That was before when they got married. She said she didn't want to be responsible for his restitution, and the baby mamas start coming for her with the child support. So she checked
There's
out.
actually, see, she was smart. She would actually research. You actually can get a prenuptial agreement where you're not responsible for child support or for other legal endeavors that are illegal
She
endeavors that you
mentioned
have.
that seasons ago and said that in New York it doesn't matter. But I
Oh,
don't
New York
that's
doesn't matter?
that's what she said because people had asked her that at reunions. People were asking her that online. And she has
Well,
said,
get married in a different state. You ain't got to get, y'all have to understand, y'all can get married somewhere else. People
yes,
do it all the time. People have
yes,
destination weddings.
yes.
You can get,
She,
because in
for
California,
whatever reason, doesn't want to be attached
and
to this
California is a
man.
community property state. You actually can have revisions on what debt you want to carry when you and him decide not to be together no
It's
more.
called a
The-
post nuptial
Yes.
agreement.
Like, cause one of my friends just divorced his wife, and she thought he was the student loan debt. They said, no. He said right here, and you signed right here that he's not responsible for that.
That's actually something, because I graduate college in 2 months. And that's actually something I want to look into, because my cousin Montez is a lawyer. I want to look into getting a postnuptial agreement with my husband, because I have accrued going to school over $70,000 worth of debt just from fucking college. And then I'm going to continue on to get my graduate degree. And I have my Mrs. Best Reviews, and he has his music and his B3ST brand as well. So I think that when you're trying to grow something, or when it comes to business, if you care about your love, it's okay to put documentation to that to protect yourself.
People are weird when they tell me about prenups and postnups and shit. People are weird about that because it's like, no,
You only
you
have
want to be
a problem with it
responsible.
if you want, in my opinion, you only have a problem with a prenup or postnup if you have ulterior motives, or if you know that you're not the love of
Yeah, I'm about to say because I have no problem signing one.
I have
'Cause
no problem with it.
I
My
have no
husband
problem
has
with it.
been
Like if
through,
you
and
really,
he not
yeah,
texted me like, "What the hell are you talking about?" He can hear what I'm saying. So I don't see any issue with people protecting themselves when it comes to how you live,
yeah.
or
Like if
protecting your
he
spouse for
if he
debt.
came
I don't want
into
them to
like ten
incur
million
that debt.
dollars and wanted me to sign a post up, I would sign it. Like I have no
Yeah.
problem doing so
It's
because
just like, it's also a
yeah,
care thing. Like,
it's
if
not
you care for your spouse, I don't understand why she won't do that. So I think there's something deeper with that. But that's all I'll say on Yandy and Mendice's couple that's not married legally. Moving it along, we're going to get into Chaotic's video shoot. Chaotic's video shoot is interesting. I actually like his music. It's peaceful, but we see his video shoot. Erica Banks shows up. He's flirting with her and all of this stuff. And he has Erica Banks jump in the video. And then while he's holding Erica Banks up in the air, just holding her in the air or whatever, after the video, we see that Amy Luciani shows up. And listen, Amy is one of those girls that irritates me when it comes to dating, because you say this is your friend and you don't care if you talk to other people or whatever. But then at the same time, y'all is taking naps together and you show up instantly upset that he's holding up Erica Banks in the air. Talking about there, he's holding her up in the air in a sex pose and all of that. No, he was not. You the one that showed up to the video shoot with your ass crack out. I didn't understand that outfit. The back of it was intentionally meant to show her ass crack. I don't understand. All I can say is, to wear an outfit like that, you better make sure you don't have to poop at all. Because if you wipe it from front to back like you're supposed to, unless you got some baby wipes or carry like Vagisil wipes in your purse, as I do, then, you know, that crack could have a smell similar to crack.
girl. I'm not doing this with you right now.
I'm just speaking my opinion. That's the
I
point
am
of the
not doing
fucking
this.
show. I just didn't understand why anybody would make an outfit to where your ass crack has to be out. I don't get it. Maybe it's supposed to be like the thong line showing to be sexy, and she just didn't get that. I don't know, but it bothered me. Anywho, she made a comment as soon as she comes to the video shoot talking about, I thought I was supposed to be the main video girl. I'm like, oh my God. First of all, I can't get past the fact that these women are really arguing over Chaotic. It's
I
bothering
can't
me.
either. It's crazy to me because it's like, what? Really? Like, huh?
Why? Mr. Osseltenda says she better not have any flatulence in that outfit.
Okay, because you're gonna see the bubbles. I promise you.
Not you go see the bubbles. I'm done with both of you. I cannot. I'm taking the comment down. I can't take it seriously. I can't get through looking at that comment. But no, she's really upset about this. And I'm just like, y'all are really fighting over a man. Like, girls still do this. I thought we were moving past this, but apparently we have not, because she was really bothered by Erica Banks. Erica Banks made it clear. She said, whatever me and Chaotic got going on is what we got going on. Erica Banks seems like the one that's not going to throw shade and fight over the dude. But Amy, I think, is taking it a little personal. And then we actually find out that she's coming out of a 6-year relationship. So that lets me know you're not the girl that's just interested in being cupcaked up and, sleeping with people. But you don't have to throw shade at a girl who made it very clear. Well, to her credit, Erica Banks did make it seem like she did not want Chaotic. She said that, I don't want him, but they obviously is entertaining them. So their little beef to me is petty. I'm never going to be for women fighting. No, nigga. I'm just not going to do it. Like, unless that's your husband, which in that case, you should probably be calling an attorney, getting them separation documents.
That's what I'm saying.
You shouldn't be fighting over a dude. Like, if somebody disrespect my husband, I'm gonna knock a bitch out. I really will. But that's like if we're out in public and he's disrespected. But if some bitch want to fight me because she claims she been sleeping with my husband, girl, you can have him. That's how I feel at this age. But maybe they are younger. I'm not sure of the age of Amy or Erica Banks.
They seem like they're in their 20s. That's what they
They
seem
have
like
to
to
be
me.
acting like
Like, because
this.
when I look at them, I'm like, y'all give me young, immature, ignorant, almost like.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. It
But
doesn't make sense.
Sierra comes to the video shoot as well. And basically, she came with a bone to pick and a diaper booty. Her ass looked like a diaper that had been, like, when little babies be going in the water and they come out and you could see all the beads of the diaper. Look like
Girl,
it's
I'm
just
not doing this with you.
hanging. It did. You're not disagreeing. Her ass, she gave diaper booty. These women have got to stop touching their bodies, especially the naturally thick women like Sierra. It just, I don't know. Anywho, so Sierra comes with the bone to pick. She says that Chaotic should have defended her. But my thing is, there would be nothing to defend if you shut the fuck up and minded your black-owned business. So I don't know why she's really going forward. She really took time out of her day. I thought you were a boss. Go do some lashes or something, dude. You really took time out of your day in the midst of a divorce and children that, in my opinion, at this point are neglected because your ass got this man that you barely knew when you married him. He treating your kids like crap, and you still stayed married to him and waited for the cameras to come on to leave him. I see right through you, Gemini. Now she suddenly wants Chaotic and expected for him to defend her. Here's my thing with that. I feel like these women lack accountability. I have said it consistently since episode 1. Bambi, Minna, and look, I don't forgot the girl's name and I'm talking about her. And Sierra. They lack accountability. Now, what these men have done to them is wrong, but all of the things that were done to them were to be expected with the type of men and who they chose and the history and trajectory of their relationships. So it doesn't make what these men has done to them right, but it also should be, where I say accountability, I'm not saying make it your fault that he cheated. I'm saying be accountable so that you learn for the next time that you date, so that your children don't have to keep getting to know these men that end up leaving. In the case of Sierra, get to know people. Don't just rush into marriage. That's where Bambi is not accountable. That's where Erica Mena is not accountable. And that is where Sierra was not accountable. They all got married relatively early in their relationships. Or in Bambi's case, they got married. She got it proposed to, Scrap proposed to her as a result of an apology from a bunch of other stuff. So they just have to be careful with the choices they make, because then they end up in these situations. Now, Sierra, I stand and I say this again. Security would have intervened without anybody saying anything if Scrap was truly violent with you in any way. Security was just looking, because it was just a woman following a man with her hands in his face and the man trying to swat her away and run. That's what happened. So we've all I got kicked out of StreamYard.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to figure out what happened to you.
I don't know. It just said
You
like
froze for a minute. I was like,
I
Okay,
stopped talking when I froze, but I don't know what everyone caught. I apologize. I am looking for other people to broadcast through on YouTube until they get it to where we can just use YouTube, because
right, because
StreamYard
StreamYard be on
has
some
so
bullshit. It
many
really is.
issues. I'm genuinely sick of them. There's always an issue, and I am literally right next to connected to my modem, so I'm not understanding what the issue is. Um, Anywho, I was talking about what Chaotic had said in his confessional, which I think that every viewer agreed with and appreciated. You step to a man in a disrespectful way. One, you step to a man knowing that and expecting from your own words for him not to say anything back. You expected to be able to do all of that in his face and get nothing in response. And now you expect for a man that don't know you from a can of paint to defend you for actions that were incorrect and not okay and very immature. So the other issue is this also was none of your business. It has nothing to do with your life and does not impact you in any way. If anything, I would expect for Erica Mena to be the one doing all that with Scrap, because they actually have a relationship. She met him first, not Bambi. And because she's the one that had Bambi watching her kids, like that her and Bambi are actually
So
close.
you feel because I was going to disagree with you on that one because I feel like even Erica shouldn't even overstep because I've known you before I knew your husband before you were even married. I
Mm-hmm.
still don't feel like I am the person to go up to your husband and say, "Hey, if there was a situation, you did my girl wrong."
No, no,
I
no.
still
There's
don't.
nobody in my life who will ever be the fucking person to step to my husband about something he did wrong. And the bitch that did is cut off and wondering why. So I stand with you on that. Either way, it's wrong. But I'm saying if one of them were to be that invested emotionally, I would expect it to be Mena because she's closer. They've watched kids, they're supporting each other through similar situations. Sierra, I don't get it. I just don't get it. But Chaotic spoke for all of us when he said she should have been minding her business, and she should have. And I loved when he said to her, "I'm not your knight in shining armor." And Sierra's dumbass, because this was all she had. You could tell when someone is fighting with like, this is all they have left. There's nothing else she can really say. So she's gonna pull what she can. Well, so basically, he's trying to say that because I'm not your woman, that you have to stand by me getting abused. Girl, you weren't abused. You weren't attacked. You weren't. Nothing happened to you. And what did happen to you is him saying, "Get this bitch away from me." Listen, you are a bitch because this has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. He's saying to get her away from me, and you still kept coming for somebody. As soon as a man says to me, "Get this bitch away from me," I'm going away from you. Your wish has been granted.
Or if you feel like you've made your point, shut the fuck up. That's what I'm trying to feel like. That's what I feel like. I feel like this. If you've already made your point, shut the hell. It don't even matter what he's talking about at this point. Let him look like the fool. But the fact of the matter is, you look like the fool going up to him and doing all this, and then you expect him, and you want to blame him and make him the suspect. No, that's not how any of this go. Where I hold him accountable is what I said at the beginning of this video. I said he should have said, "Hey, security, I'm not doing this with her on camera."
Sierra is looking for yes men, because if we go back to the scene at the sound bath, Jessica White and one other, I believe it was Jessica White and Yandy tried to tell the hell is it? I keep forgetting names. Tried to tell Sierra, "That's not your business. You shouldn't have said that." And they looked at Bambi like, "You're okay with this?" And then they realized Bambi was okay with it and let it go. So Sierra's been told to mind her business by women. Sierra's been told to mind her business by men. Sierra's been told to mind her business by co-workers, I guess they could call each other. Sierra's been told to mind her business from every direction, but refuses to admit or see that she is wrong. Which, I get that. As Geminis, it is sometimes hard to admit when we are wrong, but we still do it. So Sierra, can you not fail Geminis and like do the right thing? I don't understand it. So basically, Amy ends up, Miss I don't care for Chaotic. tries to defend Sierra because I think that Amy just wants to be in tight with that group, honestly, because she don't have shit in common with them women. She is way younger than those women. Okay, that's why they all putting fillers and shit in their face trying to keep up. And I'm not understanding why Amy, who just met them, is defending Sierra so hard. So she's like, from a woman's perspective, no, from a woman's perspective, it's not okay for a man to get in your face and come at you. No, but this man did not do that. Someone came at him. We cannot ignore that fact. You asked for it. You was looking for something and you fucking found it, Sierra. That's just
and that's my thing that I'm still puzzled on, because I just trying to understand, what did you think was gonna happen when you confronted this man? Do you think he was gonna go, okay, Miss Sierra, I'm gonna kiss your toes and go?
no.
Like, did you really think that was gonna happen? Like, he was going to defend himself because he is in the crossfire, not only from his marriage, but from the women that are looking upon him. He just had Erica with her vein attack him just last episode, and now here you come now this episode, and like, what else is he supposed to do? He tired of y'all. Like, I'm just saying, like, I get that. I get the whole perspective of men should not charge at women. I totally understand that. I get that 110%. But if Erica just said, I just had a confrontation with Scrappy and you was sitting in the bed when she said it, what made you think you could carry your ass up in there?
And she's
and
trying
do
to
the same shit.
She keeps saying, oh, he was saying so much about you. I got mad. Girl, if you're getting that mad because of something that someone has to say about someone literally who's just a friend, then you need to go to anger management and counseling and figure out why you're so angry.
Why couldn't you just be messy, record the shit, and then bring it to Bambi?
Yeah.
I would have did it. I would have pressed record on my phone, sat there and was quiet as a motherfucking church mouse, and waited for him to fall on his own sword, and then, because that's what being a friend is. That if y'all don't know, if y'all in the same situation where y'all are with your friend's soon-to-be ex-spouse, and he is dragging her through the mud, record that shit. So that way, it allows your friend to never have the possibility of
friend go through that. I did. Her ex, he was actually abusive and stuff, but he tried to come at me, calling me, talking all types of shit about her, was sending me texts. I screenshotted everything, screen recorded everything, and sent it right on to her. And I'm glad I did, because it helped her to finally stop dealing with his bitch ass, because he was putting his hands on her and stuff. So I'm not going to, as a woman, if you don't expect men to come at you, then follow my ideology. I'm not confronting or stepping to no man about nothing. Single, married, whatever. I'm not arguing with no man. I'm just not doing it. Most women, not little girls who think they somebody because they got a business and some kids, women, like true adults, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to argue with you like that. Yes, you can have a banter, a back and forth or whatever, but I'm not going to raise my voice at a nigga that I'm not fucking. If you can't make me come, then I'm not raising my voice. That's just how I feel. I stand by that. I'm not, even with you, and you're my best friend. I'm not going to, I don't really have issues with you. You don't get on my
right. How about to say, what issues?
But like, if you were to ever start tripping or something, or if you were to like call me, like, or if I were to run into your spouse or something, and he's like, I can't stand James, and I'm sick of it, I'm not gonna go off on him and all that. Even if I'm mad,
no, you would. You could. That's why I have to make sure that you come correct, because I know you. She's lying. She is absolutely lying.
I would not. I would do.
Especially if I told you I'm having problems, and no, she's not gonna do what Sierra did. She gonna shut the shit down. That's just how she is.
I'm not gonna argue. That's for sure. But it will be shut down, because nobody will be talking about you. I'm just.
Here's the thing, but I'm not saying, she's not saying it, because I literally don't do nothing to anybody. Like, I literally just.
He doesn't.
I don't do anything to anybody. Yes, I'll have my opinion, but I usually have my opinion when shit is fucked up or shit is wrong. Like, that's just me. Like, if some shit is wrong, you know. Hold on, my dog is going crazy. Hold on one second.
You're totally fine. You're totally fine. I'm gonna move it along. So we saw the end of this basically. So Scrappy conveniently showed up after Sierra left. Love and HipHop producers, your edges are showing. That was very
okay. That was very. This is, see, in the word of Roxanne, for It's Rocks, or It's Rocks on YouTube. Mona bitch.
For real, your edges are showing because we for sure, we for sure knew that that was set up. But I was glad they did it that way because I don't want to see Sierra, Erica, or Bambi arguing with no more people. I'm sick of all three of them. But basically, Chaotic tried to explain to Scrappy how, as men, that they can be taken aggressively, or the things that they say or do could be interpreted in a way that's not fair. And I thought that it was smart, and I was glad that Chaotic actually brought that up to him because that's true. Chaotic even said, "Look at us. I be in the gym. We be lifting together. Like, what are you talking about? We cannot get at people like this, even when we're within our right to do so." Basically, Chaotic was saying to Scrap what James said earlier: shut it down, but there's a way to do it. And Scrappy was not trying to hear any of it, denied everything per usual. He did exactly what a 15-year-old young man would do because that's where he is stuck. But he did say that something that I agree with. He said, as long as I ain't put no, he said, as long as he don't put the pause on women, which he don't do, he should be allowed to defend himself. And I do agree with that. If somebody is coming at you in an aggressive manner, the way that Sierra did about your personal space, you do have a right to defend yourself, Scrap. But I need you to learn how.
I
You
was
can't.
going to say,
You
because
can't
there's a
off
difference.
people. You
Yeah, there's
can't.
a difference between when you going off on somebody who actually is logical and have sense and not no ignorant ass heifer that just want to be on TV and be seen. There's a completely different scenario here. We're not talking about somebody who actually is coming at you with generalization. She's coming at you because we have her girlfriend and she has a one-sided story. There's a
Mm.
difference.
Yep. It's very one-sided. I think that the issue is we attract what we are a lot of times. And Scrappy is immature, Bambi is immature, Sierra is immature, Erica Mena is immature. And this is why they're all bonded and somehow involved. So that's really what it comes down to with that. And I hope that people don't look at this and automatically assume that little Scrappy is just aggressive and lost his marbles. This woman provoked him, and she, look, a ratchet bitch will get to you because it's stressful to see somebody that ignorant. So moving on along to the last scene of thy show. This has been a long recap. I did not expect that, but a lot happened in this episode. So I apologize to those who are stuck here for the hour and 37 minutes we've been here. Let's finish it. Yandy, Rasheeda, and Spice go to, was that Yandy's restaurant? I don't even know.
No, that wasn't the indie restaurant, was it?
Because she was talking about her staff and stuff, and I know Yandy has a restaurant now out there. So I don't know if it was her restaurant. I didn't catch it, but they're at a restaurant, and Yandy basically plays the same messy role she always plays, tells someone's business, and whatever. I really need her to be gone from this show. And I like Yandy and respect her as a
You
businesswoman.
know what? I have one for Yandy. Let me get on my soapbox for a minute. Yandy,
Oh, Lord.
Yandy, quit loving hip hop and start a YouTube channel. Let me see how popular and how many subscribers and how much you get from this. I'm just saying, if you are really like the star of the show, this is your shit. You know you can do this, and you about this money, about this business. Start a YouTube channel. I'm gonna subscribe to you because I want the because when you start giving business lectures and stuff and how you starting shit, I'm going to be tuned in. But I want you to start a YouTube channel. I want to see how popular you are. I want to see if you get as many viewers as the show gets.
I think that Love and Hip Hop is not the show to be on for as long as Yandy,
No,
especially with someone who has as much education.
no, because let's keep it real. Love
Promise.
and Hip Hop was Yandy's idea. It was Yandy's idea originally, from what I understood,
She
based
was Jim
on
Jones' manager.
yeah,
She was.
she created this and she put it under Mona's wing, and that's how Mona's because everyone's saying that this was originally Yandy's idea. This is why Yandy's still on the show, and that's why I said Mona, pay Yandy the money that you owe her and stop playing with us because she's not entertaining
At
whatsoever.
all. Yeah.
And
I
like we
think
said, we
earlier it
respect.
was, but once your storyline repeats so many times,
Yes,
it's not interesting. So I either need you to be a girls actually in scenes with the girls kicking it, doing stuff, not about drama, just being a good time, the positive businesswoman that Rasheeda wants to be. Or I need you to just go away. I don't care to keep seeing your family stuff. I really don't. Like, I just don't, especially with Mendici's mom. But Yandy, since she's came on the show, has lacked a storyline. So I feel like
That's a shame when you think about it, that your only storyline was, ratted around your husband's baby mamas and whatever they had going on and what drama y'all had together.
Not her
That's really
husband, her
crazy.
baby daddy. She's a baby mama too. There ain't no ring. Okay. I refuse. People actually go and get, there are people that still value marriage. So don't just be calling him that shit, because if you really loved your
Which
man,
is why I
you'd
had
be
the
willing
air
to pay
quote.
his
I
restitution for him or help him with that or something. Set up a
No, she
payment
can get that
plan,
prenup. She can get that prenup out of this. She go to one of the
prenup,
states
post
where,
nup. There's a way
yeah,
to
she
be
go to one of
married.
those states that don't require that shit and actually get that written in and marry in that state. I know
Mhm.
the lady, she married
Well,
her
they don't
husband in
even live in New
Colorado.
York no more. They live in
Yeah, that's
Georgia.
why I'm like, what the hell
So
is the point? I have
yeah,
to read up Georgia's laws. I don't know, but like I
I don't know
said,
Georgia's laws, but that's just weird to be with somebody that long and refuse to marry them. Like, how deep is the love really if you're not even willing to do the paperwork?
or maybe if,
It takes 2 seconds.
or maybe
On
she's
behalf
smart
of
and, or maybe she's smart and don't want him to get half her shit.
prenup. They're not married, so they can write a prenup and then go do their paperwork because they're not married. So that's like, that's the thing. Like, there's no excuse to not be doing it because she can put the documents. But she don't want to talk about that. She never wants to talk about that. Anytime something interesting with Yandy comes up for years that we could talk about, like the fact that she wasn't married and lied to people about it, she never wants to talk about it. She changes the subject, goes away, all these different things.
Mm.
Hello, Fido.
So
So,
say
but
hi, Auntie.
the dog, the arms, all that. I love the pets, y'all. I've worked with pets for many years. I trained
Girl, because
dogs.
he won't leave me alone, so I have to.
That means he loves you. That's a lap dog anyway. That's what they for. That's what they for.
Girl, this thing finna go back on the floor. I just came to give him some love so he can go away.
Black people and pets. Anyway,
Mhm.
so we see that Spice, she tells the ladies because they see that she's down. Spice says that she feels like she's going to die early. Listen, I ain't trying to get canceled before I can begin, but I'm gonna say this. I have said this every episode. If she said that, they hugged her, there was no tear. Listen, Spice,
What you gonna get canceled from? I'm
something
trying to.
about Spice and how she's using her medical issues comes across as disingenuous. That's
I'm
what I
like,
would say.
yes, because it's very inauthentic. I feel like, man, there are people who are actually dying from cancer who don't make this big of a fuss. Like
Who
I am
says that? I feel like I'm
I'm
going to die early. Yeah, here you
ma'am,
are with them.
I'm like, you are really poking fun at a serious situation because I actually know somebody who died from a hernia. I do. So that's why
Mhm.
I'm like, ma'am, like I don't know if you just want sympathy or you really was trying to get on this, make sure you actually had a peach on this show or whatever this shit is. But that was crazy to come out your mouth. You on mute. Oh. But yeah, it was crazy to yeah, that was crazy to come out her mouth and stuff. So ugh. Yeah, Spice annoys me, y'all. Spice get on my nerves. So
I'm sorry. I had a I had a jail call. I'm so sorry. You got to answer when they call. One of my very good friends is locked up. Free Chopper
uh,
Milo. Anywho, but no, I definitely agree with what you're saying. I'm just like with Spice. I don't think that's something to play with. I had a hernia. They are things that can come back over and over. I had a complication in my surgery. I went in for what was supposed to be a 3-hour surgery and apparently was under for like 10 hours. I never seen my spouse so concerned, but so happy to see me when I did come to. I was like, oh shit. So the medical issues are a very big deal. Hernias can go wrong. It's just a surgery that's But my thing is, and this is why it comes across as disingenuous, as a mother, as a human being that loves family members, if you truly feel like you're going to die early, why are you filming with these ladies and not with your kid?
boom.
I don't give a fuck
You
what
said
nobody
it.
say because y'all been telling me I'm mean. I don't get it because I'm not a mother. I don't have to be a mother to understand that if I feel like I'm dying early, I want to be around nobody but those who I love the most.
Exactly. Sell your big ass house.
I'm going to Jamaica.
Take your coins, go back to Jamaica and spend as much time as you can with your children. And then when that time comes, when you feel like you can't hold on anymore, make sure your children are set up so that way they don't have to carry any of the burdens you have.
Mm-hmm. And like,
So,
such as her daughter calls her in this scene, and that's how the show ends. And her daughter's eye, at first I was like, did the girl get in a fight? But then I looked and it looks like she's having an allergic reaction of some sort based on
mhm.
how the inflammation was around the eye. Spice runs out and, oh my God, if it's not something, and falls onto the ground outside in public. I'm just, listen, realistically, and that's my last note, Spice realistically should not be on camera with all that she has going on.
Yeah, this was a bad idea. This was not a
This
good
was
look
a
for her at
very
all.
bad idea because now people are going to look at you as if they did feel sorry for you, now they're looking at you like, okay, you feel like you're going to die early. So you decide to sit with Rasheeda and Yandy, of all people.
I'm done with Spice. I ain't got nothing else for her because,
I'm pretty done with Spice also this
like, I'm gonna
season.
start fast forwarding her scenes just because I cannot take her anymore. I can barely take Erica Mena that vein. I can barely take Sierra in them cheekbones. I can
Mm-hmm.
barely take Bambi in them teeth. I
Mm-hmm.
do not want to add Spice in that hernia in them hips. I do not want to have all of that. And yes, I'll talk about body parts because that is what they want you to notice about them.
Mm-hmm.
Erica wants y'all to see that big ass vein in her forehead because that's what's gonna scare everybody away is when she pop out that vein. But what she don't know, I'm gonna be ready to have an IV bag and give it some. I'm telling you, give it some saline. I'm
He
ready
wants
for it.
to drain the vein.
I do. I want it to go away. I'm gonna drain that vein, and I'm gonna give her some saline. I'm going to do it all. So yes,
Were you ever a medical assistant? Did you take
no,
medical assistant
I
courses?
did. I didn't take medical. I actually tried to get into medical school. I
Oh,
did.
wow. Okay.
I
Because I
did
was like,
six.
you
I
would
did
only
six
have.
prerequisites of biology to want to get into medical school. I wasn't trying to write that big ass paper. That's the reason why I didn't go.
Oh, yeah, the dissertation.
Yes, I didn't
Yeah.
want to write that because you do 4 years of regular college
Mhm,
and you use those credits to get into medical school.
mhm.
Um, the reps from St. Louis University because I was ignorant. Okay, I did it, but it worked. St. Louis University School of Medicine actually wanted to make me take their assessment, and I was like, no, I'm good. I don't even want to do it no more.
That's what happened to me. My whole life, I wanted to be a veterinarian, and then that I saw, I'm just like, look, listen, and I'm hella good at math, and I was like, I just don't want to do it.
I don't. And it's funny because I actually did an internship at a law office that deal with HIPAA because I wanted to learn the laws. I did all of that shit, and still to this day was like, no. And I could go back and finish that degree because it's only I have what 15 credits left before I can apply for medical school. I
Take
think I
your
need.
narrow ass
I
back.
think I need. I think I need anatomy class because I only did the first anatomy. I didn't do the second one. But yeah,
Mhm.
I have over 6 courses of biology and forensic science under my belt.
Oh, good for you. I hope that someday you're able to do something with it because
I
yeah,
would love to go back to be a doctor. I would, but I just don't have the money. I just that's really what it comes down to.
oh, yeah,
I don't
people
want to
who want
work
to
and go
be
to medical school. I really
doctors be broke. They have to work through everything that they do. But that was pretty much it for the recap. I thought that this was a really good episode. We will be back next week at the same time. I hope that you all continue and go and subscribe to Watch Your Mouth Reviews. He's going to eventually be getting into horror movie reviews. I like what he does with this channel. He's got games that he does in some recaps. If an episode is boring, but the show is worthwhile, he'll play some games, make it fun. It's definitely worthwhile. It's definitely good to look into. He also assists sometimes with song reviews. I really want people to subscribe to his channel because I am a part of it as well. And the more people that subscribe to him, the more content that he can get out. And there's something for everybody. Apologies, they're working on my windows. But other than that, for those, because I always let you guys know at the end of the video, remember that everything we talk about is based on opinions that we have based on information that these people on the show have shared. We do not take this seriously. We do not know them. We take our recap seriously, but we do not take the shit that they go through to heart like they're our friends and family. We don't know them. We always wish them well. For those who are regular channel watchers of Mrs. Best Reviews, because I realize I have to do this now, someone requested that I let you guys know the upcoming stuff that's happening. The next things happening will be the song review tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. If you're an artist or know a musical artist that you want highlighted or to have their music out there, please let me know. Send me a DM, an email, and we can get their song played. The next thing we have happening will be Friday night after Love During Lockup on WeTV airs. I will be doing the recap immediately after the episode while everything is fresh. And then following next week, we'll have all the stuff with the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel, RHOA, the game, or not the game, the Carlos King and Nene Leakes interview, as well as Bell
Yes.
Collective, and then Love and Hip Hop here again on Wednesday at the same time. So I hope everybody subscribes. And YouTube informed me actually during this that, oh, congrats, you've reached 300 subscribers. So I don't know who you people are, but thank you for
Yes.
life. I appreciate it. So I hope everybody has a good day. Please subscribe to Watch Your Mouse Reviews channel for those who act as if you cannot understand how it's on your screen. And if you pause the video and shut me the fuck up from talking, it can stay there. You can go to the URL. You can also click to go to his page in the description. So everybody have a good day, Thug Life, and thank you, James.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Adios.